Do you spend too much time worrying about what you can't control? Do you focus more on what you can't control instead of what you can control? How do you decide what you can or can't control? Hello, welcome to Be a Better Person. This channel is all about self-discovery, self-improvement, self-love, gratitude, and kindness. And today's topic is what you can't control. Remember, these are just ideas that I have, things that I think, and things how I try to change myself for the better by looking at and examining internally how I process things. What works for me might not work for you. And so if you have any ideas that maybe I don't touch upon, it would be awesome if you could comment below. And we can maybe look at things together and find ways to get better so that us being better makes other people better. So the first thing that I want to look at, it's that things that you can control are yourself and yourself only. You can't really control other people. You can possibly influence them, and you can influence them through maybe your position, your position, intimidation, your societal place in life because you have the power over them because of your position. But the biggest thing is you should try to influence people. You should try to lead by example, and you should try not to control them. And so whether it's people or situation, try to stop focusing on things that you can't control. And so just a couple things I'm going to kind of look at my own personal thing is like my spouse. So I am the first to admit to my wife that I was terrible in the first few years of our relationship and marriage, very controlling, just because, again, I think some societal programming that showed me that this is how the husband is and he's the king of his castle. I don't want to make it sound like I was totally terrible, but I was. And I think I've changed 1,000% better. And so I'm going to just a couple little things to focus on. So like one of my bugaboos, one of the things that just is a wet rag in the bottom of the sink. Because if you go to pick it up, first of all, if it's been wet, it probably is going to be all smelly. And now your hands are going to smell when you pick it up. You got to wring the water all over it and do whatever. And so this is something that my wife loves to do. But she's mostly responsible for the dishes. I take care of laundry. She takes care of dishes. So I finally just stopped. I will just pick it up, wring it out, throw it in the dirty. If it smells, if it's still good and clean, I'll hang it up so it can dry. If not, I'll smell it. If it smells yuck, I'll wring it out, go put it in the dirty clothes, and I'll wash my hands. Oh, look it. It's not a big deal. Nothing to keep dwelling on. What can I control? Can I control her from leaving that in the sink? No. Can I control how I react to her leaving it in the sink? Yes. So there's some big things there. Children are the same way. You hope you set an example. You hope you teach right from wrong. But can you actually control what they're going to do? If you make sure that you're doing the right things, you're leading by example. Because the worst thing you can do is tell your child not to do something, and then you do the thing, because they're looking at that every single day. So probably stop doing that. What can you control? The example I set for them. Can I control what they do with that example? No, but I can hope that maybe I was able to teach them the right things, and that when they're not around. I remember one of the biggest things that I tried to teach both of them when they were first initially in their younger ages learning is that trust is the biggest thing between us, and making sure that we're honest and open, and that, again, if you come to me first with something that you did, the punishment will be way less severe than if I find out that you lied to me or hid something from me. And that once you do that and you break that trust, it's so hard to ever get it back. So just make sure that you're always honest and open with me. Now, can I control what they do with that information once they do it? No. But I can just hope that it's important enough to them to make sure that we keep that trust so that we can always trust each other. And the more that I trust you, the more I allow you to go do, the more that I don't watch everything that you do. And like I said, I was blessed with both of my children, very easy to raise, no problem, major problems. Some of the things that I thought were problems were not problems at all. They were just both wonderful. They still are to this day. Employees, there's another thing. Almost the same as your children, is that you got to lead by example. If they see how you handle things, you can't say, well, you need to do this, but then you do something completely different. If you show that you're willing to go above and beyond in every single aspect of being the manager, supervisor, lead, and they see what you're doing, they will emulate and follow, and try to build them up, try to take away. Or what can you control? Can you control that they're going to remember to follow their job and do it perfectly? No. Can you control whether they still are employed there? Yes. So when it gets to a thing, you have to realize, I mean, if I have to tell somebody 67 times the same thing over and over and over and over, maybe I can't control making them do that, but I can control whether or not I need to find someone else to do that. Might sound harsh, but it's really the truth. But what can you control? What can't you control? Your situation, again, back from just my background, I had pretty normal middle class raising until I was 14, and then 14 to 18, not quite so good. My mom did the best that she could, but things weren't always that great. I mean, I went through a lot of things, not hardships. Again, I had a mother who loved me. It wasn't somebody who was abusive, and so I'm blessed for that. And other people probably had way worse situations than I had. I didn't have a lot of direction though, so I did a lot of alcohol, and I did a lot of experimenting with drugs. So there's things there that was still all to me how I controlled my situation. Once I turned 18, I had a lot more control, because you can't always control things. You don't have a job, you have to go to school. Once I hit 18, then I was in charge of what I did, and I could control my situation. Even to this day right now, if I don't like my situation, I could form a plan to make sure that I can do whatever I feel like I want to do. Yes, I have things, but I could downsize. I could go live in a tiny home. I could buy used cars. I could go shopping at a thrift store for things. I could watch what I eat and grow more of my own food. Seeds cost way less than frozen vegetables at a store. I can control those situations. So focus on what you can, not what you can't control. So is there a process that you use to determine what you can and can't control? So like when you're looking at your job, I'm not happy in my job. I've tried to have conversations with my employer, or I've tried to have conversations with my employees, or I've tried to have conversations with my supervisor. Can I change what they're going to do to me? Now, I can work really, really, really hard, show that I have value, and maybe they see that, maybe they don't. And if they don't, then I can also make the decision of finding another job. Once again, maybe it's not going to be at the amount that I make, but then maybe I have to work more hours. So it's just one of those things that who knows how you're going to do it or how you're not. I think my light just went out, but I'm going to finish because I got to figure out why. Relationships, again, if you're with someone who doesn't seem to value you, are you going to try and change them because of that rag in the sink? Or are you going to just say, hey, this is something I can live with because they're important to me and they do so many other things really, really good that help me in my life and bring joy to me, that I can forgive that thing that I can't control. I can control how I respond to what they do, how they do things, and instead of trying to change them. So the big one, I think, for me is because just right now we're at a point in this country that politics have gotten way out of control, and you watch people on every single side about all they post on social media, and this is what you should do to be right, or this is what you should do to be wrong. And it's, again, they're trying to control things that they have no control over. So what can we control if we're unhappy with something politically, whether it's a law or it's a ordinance or whatever? Hey, we can join the city council, the village council. We can run for state office. We can get petitions, go out and try and get petitions to change a law. We can contact our representatives over and over and over and write letters. We can go out and get actively. If we are against hunger, we can go volunteer at a soup kitchen, or we can help the elderly make sure that they're fed. Those are things we can control, or try to control. We can control how we respond, or we can just get on our soapbox and go blah, 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 this is bad, and not have a solution whatsoever. I see a lot of that. First of all, people posting stuff that there's no sources to. So-and-so posted this on Facebook, it's gotta be true. Listen, this is what I believe. Because we all try to stand behind what we believe in. I don't care about the side. So the thing is what can we control? We can't control how our neighbor thinks. We can't control what their thoughts or what their issues or what they believe in is. So why do we waste so much time trying to change somebody? What can we do ourselves personally that we can control to change a situation? So it does no good to try to focus on things that we can't change. We're wasting our energy, we're wasting our time, when all we can worry and focus on is what we can change. So is there something that you've done to make sure that you're not focusing on things that you can't change? Do you catch yourself? Do you say, how can I change the situation? What can I do to make the situation different? Can I change this? Not change this? Is there a process? Is there questions that you ask yourself to decide whether it's something you can change or not change? So remember, your smile makes me smile. Be kind, be grateful, be helpful. And until next time, have a great day. And hopefully I can figure out my lights.